welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I hope everyone's doing well. Okay. We are about to get started with this evening's reading. We will be diving into Santisima Muerte. We will wait for some more people to join us here this evening. And then we will be diving right in. So I hope you guys are ready because I've been looking forward to this for a little bit. I've been looking forward to this one. I don't think we've done a necromantic text on stream. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. We've talked about necromancy on stream before, but we've not dove into anything like this. So once our co-host arrives, we will begin the reading. Again, we are looking at a Santisima Muerte, How to Call and Work with Holy Death by Conjureman Ali, who I actually have the pleasure of knowing, at least internet-wise. About 15 years ago, he was the one who assisted me with figuring out that I was getting scammed in the world of Kimbanda. He was the one that helped me realize that. So it's a little chilly in here. So yeah, this is what we will be getting into today. We're just waiting on our co-host, Venom. He should be joining us momentarily, so welcome in. Be sure to tap and like so we can get this out to more people. We want to get as many people in the stream as we can. So be sure to tap that screen so we can get this out. But once Venom arrives, we will begin the elucidation and the reading of the text. Mars says, Kimbanda scams are everywhere. It's sad, to be honest. Well, I know that now, but 15 years ago, when, I was just, starting my occult journey outside of the coven that I came up with, I didn't really know how things worked in the real occult world. My occult training and upbringing was very sheltered. So I didn't know how things worked in the real occult world until I got into college. And that's when I figured out everyone's lying, everyone's scamming. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this. I know we've talked about necromancy before on the show, but I don't believe we've gone into anything like this. I think I think I have. I don't know if I know we didn't do like an elucidation, or no, we did. Yeah, Quinn and I did an elucidation on Hoodoo Graveyard Sorcery by um, uh, Delumin Ra, because they're actually friends. So we did a elucidation on that, but that's the furthest that we've gone. So, oh, hey, Venom's here. Hey, bro, just so you know, I had to refollow you. Somehow you were unfollowed. Oh, wow, what the hell? Yeah, make sure you're. That's weird. Um, yeah, it still shows that you're my moderator. That I'm following you. That's weird. Um, but yeah, man, whenever you're ready, request to come up and we can get started. But yeah, that is weird. I don't know what happened there. Be sure to like the stream, guys, so we can get this out to more people. I'm excited for this evening.
Yeah, me
Hey,
too.
brother. Good evening. What's
Hey,
going
man,
on?
how's it going?
I'm doing well, man. I'm
Mm.
doing well. I hope the same for you and your family.
Doing well.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
That
Glad
was
to hear it.
that was a weird thing. Like I was looking for you to pop online, and I was like, "Where the fuck is Joe at?"
Yeah,
And
that's weird. Let me make sure. I mean, it says on here that, but let me make sure I'm still.
I went to your profile, and it was like follow, and I was like, "Shit,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, it says friends. That's weird. Um, okay then. That's very weird. But also, another weird thing, it shows you on my screen, but at least for me, I don't know if everyone else can see it, but for me, you don't have a profile picture. It just shows like you're like a bot. You have like no profile picture.
weird."
Yeah. This is what happens when you let Oracle, run everything. Um, so look out, Warner Brothers, because it's not going to be it's not going to be nice.
Same
But
for you. Okay,
oh yeah, Mars is also, I guess, seeing the non-profile picture. It's weird, man. It's weird. But
that's
whatever.
TikTok.
We are here and we're ready. We're ready to go. I figured out, I guess, how to put it as much as I can centered screen. Hopefully, it doesn't fuck anything up as we're reading through, and it'll stay just like that. I don't have a dark mode, so hopefully the text is on me and not on that. And you like the text for the chat, so you guys can still read as we go along. And unfortunately, due to how I had to set this up, I can't zoom in any further, or else it's going to fuck everything up. So hopefully you guys will be able to read what's on the screen after we move past this page. Oh hey Issa, welcome in. Issa's he welcome. Be sure to tap that screen, guys. We want to get this out. We want to get this out. Um, all right. So let's just go ahead and dive right in, bro, if you're okay
Okay,
with that.
yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. So, Santisima Muerte. How to Call and Work with Holy Death by Conjureman Ali. This is tonight's reading. And did you want to kick it off, or do you want me to start her off tonight?
I'll start it off. I'll read the introduction and
Okay. And
I
let me
guess
know if you
start the
guys can
history
see
as
the
well.
screen. I hope you can read what's on there. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't zoom in any further.
All right. Introduction. To all mortals, death is the final destination, and so a force that represents the inevitable and the mysterious. In modern Western culture, death is viewed as a terrifying force, its personification an aloof and frightening figure waiting to cut down the living and harvest their souls. But not all cultures view death in such dark ways. In Latin American culture, death has grown to become a beloved figure that is not shunned out of fear, but embraced out of love. She is Santisima Muerte. Santisima Muerte, or Holy Death, is a controversial figure that has grown in prominence over the years. Her history is often quite obscure and the legends around her myriad, but today her cult continues to grow in exponential numbers as she has become a beloved folk saint. Shunned by the Catholic Church, her devotees remain loyal to her as she has transformed not only into the miracle saint par excellence, but has also become a symbol of national pride and racial identity. Today, altars to her can be found in cities all around Mexico, and she has started to take residence in neighboring countries like the United States. Thanks to the internet, interest in her has gone global, and people from different cultural backgrounds find themselves drawn to this figure of beloved holy death. While death is universal, Santísima Muerte is a purely Mexican folk Catholic phenomenon and should be respected as such. Attempts to syncretize her with neo pagan deities or to remove her from the cultural roots would be disrespectful both to her and her devotees. But if approached with respect for her cultural background, she then takes on the mantle of a universal force, for truly death comes to all. This text is written for the sole purpose of enlightening those interested in Santísima Muerte. Her history and various legends will be discussed, but the aim is to provide practical steps on how to establish a relationship with this powerful spirit and how to properly work with her. Included in this booklet shall be traditional novenas, prayers, and orisons, all translated from Spanish. All translations are my own, not mine, authors. I'll start the history. I don't know how long this section is, but we'll find. It's
It's
pretty long.
about 5 pages. So if you want to split it up, we can
Okay.
split that up.
I'll do, let's just say first 2 pages
Okay,
of history, and then we'll swap.
that's cool.
The history and legend of Santisima Muerte. There are a variety of legends surrounding Santisima Muerte, and some anthropologists and historians of religion have tried to distinguish the history from myth. However, Santisima Muerte's origins still remain mostly shrouded in obscurity. Some legends claim that Santisima Muerte is the shadow or darker aspect of the Virgin Mary. Indeed, many depictions of Santisima Muerte are that of the Virgin of Guadalupe in a prayerful pose, but skeletal form. Some devotees refer to her as the sister of the Virgin, and it is not uncommon for people to venerate these two side by side. Both represent powerful female forces and have taken on motherly roles. The faithful of the Santisima Muerte sometimes call her their godmother, and their love for her seems to rival the love they have for the Virgin Mary, a testament to how large her cult is growing and to the role of mother that these two powerful saints fulfill. Another legend indicates that she was a nun who lived at one time, suffered heartbreak as a result of being betrayed by her secret lover, and eventually died or committed. When her skeletal remains were found, she performed miracles, and from there she became Santisima Muerte. That almost sounds like the story of one of the Pombagira.
Oh wow.
Maria Paglia has a similar story.
Oh yeah, Maria Padilla.
This legend is more in line with the stories revolving around La Llorona and the intranquil spirit. In function, all three entities are called upon to deal with wayward lovers, and so it is likely that this legend may be the result of contact with practitioners familiar with these other entities. Different people will recount different legends about her, but the most common perspective of Santisima Muerte is that she is the angel of death. In this way, while she is referred to as a saint, she actually ranks among the archangels, which would also explain her relationship with Saint Michael.
Hmm.
In this view, she is the angel of death who comes to all, and so is the most just of all the celestial figures. Since all are subject to death, her power is seen as second only to God. Given the large number of legends surrounding her, the origin of each is difficult to trace. However, what is known is that the first depictions of Santisima Muerte seem to have originated from southern Mexico, and to this day, most of the suppliers of her cult images found in Mexico come from the south. There may be some link between Santisima Muerte and the Aztec goddess of death and the underworld, Mictec. Oh, I don't know.
It's like I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, their names were crazy.
Micteca
I think the
Quetzalcoatl.
only Aztec name I can somewhat pronounce is it Quetzalcoatl?
Kulkulan.
Quetzalcoatl, or I can't remember now.
Oh
But one
yeah,
of them I had to
that's good.
learn. Yeah. There are some who even indicate that a single continuous cult of death has continued since the Aztec times till modern times, with the death goddess becoming Santisima Muerte. Historically, there is no clear evidence of a continuous cult of death, but the link in legend is certainly there. There is even a movement by modern Mexican American neo-pagans to reclaim Santisima Muerte from folk Catholic cult that has grown around her to reestablish her as a pagan goddess.
Oh wow.
While there are records of skeletal figures as early as the 19th century, it wasn't until the 20th century that records of Santisima Muerte as both protector and love saint are found. It should be noted that even if a continuous cult of death cannot be historically verified, Mesoamerican cultures retained its connection to figures of death even after conversion to Catholicism, as seen in the celebration of the Day of the Dead and in the figure of El Rey San Pascual. The earliest records of Santisima Muerte or veneration seem to revolve around prisons or those facing death. She was often depicted as a skeletal bride or a skeleton in a black robe. She was petitioned for a good death among those who worked in dangerous professions or for release from imprisonment. Maybe Michael Cacciatelli should hit her up. It is likely from this historical route that she became associated with drug dealers and the cartels. See? Interesting. Just as she became the patron of prisoners, so too did she become the patron of prison guards. I'll finish this paragraph. And today, she is still petitioned by drug traffickers and the police who fight them. This reputation as patron of both sides was highlighted in the recent drug and gang wars of Mexico, where devotees on either side of the line called upon her for protection from death. Those who faced danger called upon her to protect them, but shortly thereafter, the wives these men left at home also adopted her, but for a different purpose to bring their men back home. When their men went out in the dark and dangerous world with wives at home, the wives turned to holy death to bring back their husbands and to keep them faithful. It is from this that Santisima Muerte's traditional role as protector of those facing danger and the saint called upon to bring men home was formed.
Now, before we go any further, um,
Hmm?
it's kind of relevant, especially with what's going on in both Mexico and in the personal life of the actor in this movie, Shia LaBeouf. There was a fantastic movie on Hulu. It literally like 2 weeks ago was removed because I saw it 3 weeks ago, and then I went like 2 weeks ago to watch it, and then it was gone. But there's a fantastic movie that was on Hulu. You got to find it now somewhere else. It was called The Tax Collector, starring
Mhm.
Shia LaBeouf, and there's a few other people in there, but mainly him, where he plays the bodyguard to this lower level like street captain who is ultimately working for one of the cartels. And the street captain and Shia, you know, go do crazy things. And Shia is actually a really good bodyguard. And They get into all this kind of crazy stuff, and they end up betraying the cartel. And the cartel decides to send like the crazy assassin after them. And they're like
Mhm.
they show it all. The assassin ends up going to a devotee of Holy Death and does this whole ritual. Like it's all on camera. Like this whole ritual where they sacrifice these two chicks, and they offer the blood to the skeletal statue and all this other stuff. And he's saying in Spanish, make me invisible, make my bullets invisible, make my skin, hard as armor and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And he ends up coming to America to try and unalive Shia and the other guy, the other main character. It's actually a really good movie. Underrated. Like no one ever talks about it. But Aquarius has seen it. Obviously, The Tax Collector. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Check
I
it
haven't
out.
seen it, but that sounds good.
Oh yeah, it's really good. If you were in, I don't know if you ever seen a movie called End of Watch by David Ayer, and it's got Jake Gyllenhaal and this other guy, I forget his name at the moment. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, except it's not about cops in this case. It's about the criminals. But it feels kind of like that sort of pace.
I
So
saw End of Watch a long time ago, but it's been a while. I don't
okay,
actually fully remember it.
well, if any of you guys haven't seen The Tax Collector, check it out. Google it after this and watch it. I think you will enjoy it, especially if you're into like the crime gangster type movies. Okay, continuing. The veneration of holy death among individuals facing dangerous jobs either by working for the law or against it, along with her veneration by their wives, seems to be the earliest records of her. She may, however, have existed in some form or another before the 20th century privately. I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form of this, but we know from necromancy, just in general, that death has been venerated, honored, worshipped um, since man first died. Right, the first funerary rites, you can consider some sort of necromantia, um, and so I would assume that Santisima Muerte would have existed in some form prior to the. I can't fathom that a death deity was newly birthed. I can't. I don't know if I can gel with that. I feel like she comes from a long line of death deities in the Mesoamerican uh, pantheons that came before her, and we're just rediscovering her now. Is how I would frame this.
I would agree with that.
Um, Her popularity grew in the mid 20th century as she took on new roles as healer, granter of justice, provider, and much more. While her cults may have become somewhat public during this time, the majority of her devotion remained private. She may traditionally have been petitioned for good health or protection from death, but she has grown since then. Indeed, she seems to have consolidated the powers of other saints. Interesting. So does that mean she's used as like a psychopomp, like a go between, like a skirlin of sorts? She's like the intermediary for her devotees and these other saints. Is she the doorway? That would be
The
interesting.
the devotees I know treat her more as like if you know the role of like the witch mother.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
so
okay,
she does kind of hold that aspect, but is um, culturally it's quite a bit different. But I mean, she does kind of hold that same role from the people that I know anyway.
okay. All right. Jungle Juice says she needs no evidence. Everyone knows. Agreed. Agreed. Um, in Santissima Muerte, there is a meeting and consolidating of saintly powers. Traditionally, curanderas, practitioners of curanderismo, or Latin American Catholic folk magic, called upon a host of saints for a variety of conditions. Santa Elena and Santa Marta were the love saints par excellence. Saint Martin Caballero was the saint of money and business. San Miguel was the great protector and provider of justice, and the Virgin of Guadalupe was called upon to intervene when a miracle was needed. As the cult of Santissima Muerte has grown, she seems to have subsumed the function of these other saints. She is now called upon for love, money, protection, justice, healing, and to perform miracles. So this isn't that weird, I mean, I feel like that's a natural progression if we know anything about the dead, right? We know that there's, at least for shades, right? There's no mastery of anything that wasn't mastered in life, but that the dead can be used for a variety of purposes, right? Not just cursing or negative things or just watching people. You can definitely use the dead to find love. You can definitely use the dead to get a better job. You could definitely use the dead, both deities and shades, especially if they were human in life. They were good at that thing, right? Um, so the growing of the cult seems, like I was saying earlier, to be like a natural progression. It's like almost as if paganism in the Mesoamerican like area was like completely eradicated. Um, because like I feel like most other cultures know this about the dead, that they can do more than just what you would think traditionally the dead would do. Um, but I mean, if this is a recent discovery for the people of this cult, it almost seems like their own history was like literally wiped away, and it's now just being rediscovered, which is really interesting. Um,
That would be. I mean, that is kind of how it sounds from what you've read, but I'm kind of wondering like why
yeah,
ATRs wouldn't have influenced. Um, because of the transition from South America to North America. Like all of the movement at
Right.
that time seems like the ATRs would have had some influence in this.
Yeah, that that is true. When we talk about the ATRs, it's almost like every other Spanish speaking country except Mexico gets like mentioned. Um,
Mm.
it's interesting. I don't know how. I mean, yeah, I don't really know how that would. I mean, I'm sure there were there was some kind of a slave trade in Mexico, so something had to get over there. But I don't know. That's interesting point.
Or at least traveling through Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting point. Her reputation as performer saint, or saint that is able to grant petitions and prayers effectively, has become legendary. And now, or excuse me, there are now curanderas who are relying on Santisima Muerte alone rather than a host of other saints. Wow. So she's like a one stop shop, right? Like not as like a disrespect, but as a mundane analogy. She's like a Walmart, like a department store. You don't got to go to separate stores to get these different things. You can get your socks and you can get your milk all in the same spot. Um, so that's what it sounds like. They're using her as like a one stop shop rather than having to build an altar to seven saints. This one saint can handle all of those things. Uh, this is a good topic. Yes, I agree. It's very hush hush. Well, it kind of has to be since she's a folk saint, and officially the Catholic Church condemns these sorts of things. And Mexico is an extremely Catholic nation. So like extremely Catholic. Like I don't think I've ever seen a movie that was produced by like in Mexico by Mexicans, at least classically. Maybe today it's a little different, like an Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu movie. But prior to that, every Mexican movie I've seen had some kind of Catholic something in it. It's like their thing. Like so, this sort of stuff would be, you gotta, ay los mío, type thing. So, yeah. Um, in the last 20 years that the cult of Santisima Muerte has exploded into the public scene, her cult numbers are growing each day, and her devotees publicly honor her with feasts, vigils, and pilgrimage to holy shrines. She has also entered into the popular awareness through her connections with drug traffickers, and it is through this lens that she was introduced to the people of the United States on a large scale, the tax collector. Given her rejection by the Catholic Church, like I just said, she's taken on a role as the patron of the marginalized. So she's become protector of those in illicit professions, the poor, the homosexuals, the transsexuals, women, and other people that may be marginalized by society. And I think that kind of touches on what you were talking about, Venom, about how earlier it sounded like one of the Pombagiras, a Maria Padilla.
Mm.
I think this is another uh, slight connection to that sort of a thing. Um,
Yeah, I think so because Maria Paglia uh, was actually the first wife of the king, but as a secret wife. So he was married after, and she was treated as uh, a lady of the night for TikTok terms,
right.
and died that way. And it was only after her death that she was recognized as the first wife.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
so,
And we're at 1.2K likes, guys. Let's try to get this to 3K. 3K will keep us on the For You page. Maybe we'll get a nice viewing audience in here. So let's try to get this up to 3K likes. Thank you, Ravina, for the GIF. I appreciate that. Okay. Though she's marginalized, wait, I don't think I finished. Marginalized by society. Her role as provider of solace for those who feel marginalized or persecuted by society gives hers a unique position. While she has started out on the outskirts, as the movement's pushing for recognition and equality for those she protects grows, she is carried along with the movement and makes the transition from marginalized saint to a saint in the spotlight. But I don't know if she'll ever receive, what's that? What's that word? Um, Canonization.
canonization?
Yeah, I don't think she would ever receive canonization by the official Catholic Church. Um,
Probably not.
though she's been maligned by the Catholic Church and by the media both, Her devotees continue to strive to bring awareness to the richness of her cult and to the powerful majesty of this wonderful saint. Despite the attempts to malign her, her cult continues to grow, and while her history may not always be clear, there is no denying she's a powerful spirit and force. To those who do not know her, she's unfathomable death, but to her devotees, she is a familiar member of their family. Give it to, well, he's gone now, but give it to Jake Stratton Kent, and he'll give you some history. He'll find some history on this. Give you a nice little rundown. All right. Moving on. Come on, go to the next page. There we go. The symbols of Santisima Muerte. Like all saints and folk saints, Santisima Muerte has become associated with a set of symbols, colors, and numbers. Much of her current images and symbols are a result of the influence of spiritual suppliers. A phenomenon noted by famed folklorist Oh my god. Really? You're gonna mention her? All right. Of course, the infamous Catherine Ironwood. Oh my god. Who has examined how the image of Santisima Muerte has changed over the past 10 to 20 years or so. I don't think I've bought anything from her in like probably 10 years.
Is she still relevant?
I mean, if you're in hoodoo, I guess. I mean, unless you are specifically going to like Memphis Conjure or something along those lines, like you're specifically avoiding her. If you Google hoodoo like supply shop right now, I promise you she'll be in the top two. You know what? Let's test it. I promise you, her website's going to be in the top two. If I just type in hoodoo supply shop or hoodoo supplies or whatever, hoodoo supplies. Okay, the Art of Root. Oh, well, that's sponsored, so we're not going to count that. Oh no, she's not. She's number 3. So if we don't count sponsored, she's number 3. Lucky Mojo is number 3, so she's in the top 3. If we're not counting sponsored, if we count sponsored, she's number 5. But you can't count sponsored because you pay for that. But okay. Back to the reading. Oh shit. Sorry, I thought I X'd out of the John. Hold on, let me make this how it was. Okay, there we go. All right, where did I leave off? Go back up. Okay, here we go. Who has examined how the images of Santisima Muerte has changed over the past 10 or 20 years. The oldest images of Santisima Muerte were often in a resin color or skeletal figures dressed as brides or in the vestments of the Virgin. However, now people refer to the Grim Reaper image as traditional. In fact, it was here we go. It was Catherine Ironwood who noted that even the skeletal structure was an influence of the spiritual supply shops, as modern Grim Reaper Santisima Muerte statues actually have a male skeletal structure, though they are called female. Yeah, so I always thought that was someone else. I always thought that was what's that Brazilian cult with the skeleton guy? I always thought that was him.
Brazilian cults with skeleton. Automatically, I think Kimbanda, but
Amalcain. That's
King. Okay, yeah.
yes. I always thought that was him, but I guess not. Like I always thought that the male was him, and then the female was Holy Death. But they're saying,
Mark Allen Smith would probably agree with that.
Yeah,
because that seems to be like the way that he understands a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah, true. I like Mark Allen Smith. I don't plan on practicing anything, but I've got several of his books, and I would like for him to put out something new. Like it's been a few years. I need a new Primal Craft publication. But anyway,
maybe one day.
Where did I leave off? The adoption of the Grim Reaper-like style, Santisima Muerte, has resulted in a plethora of traditions on the symbols she's depicted with, like the scythe, owl, etc. Though a relatively modern adoption into the cult, they have nevertheless been widely accepted by her followers and devotees. Hey, what's up, Darren? What's going on, man? How are you? Welcome in. The same can be said about her traditional colors. This is what Jungle Juice was talking about earlier. The art of root is okay. That's why they had to buy advertising. um, the same can be said about her traditional colors. While now spiritual suppliers are making Santisima Muerte statues in a variety of colors, from purples, greens to elaborate rainbow colored ones, or ones wearing a gown of money, most curanderas will refer to the red, black, and white Santisima Muerte as the most traditional of her colors. Again, this is your profile picture literally just popped back up on screen. Very weird. Um,
Yep.
Again, this is likely a result of the past 20 years or so, since the oldest depictions often were of skeletons that were dressed in a variety of bride gowns or in the robes of the Virgin. It is quite traditional that as an offering, a person would get Santisima Muerte a specially tailored dress. And in the southern parts of Mexico, there are family tailors who specifically make dresses for Santisima Muerte. Wow. Talk about devotion to your goddess. Um, while these symbols, colors, and images have become associated with Santisima Muerte through the influence of spiritual supply shops, where they first make an appearance, their acceptance into her following shows the dynamic and living quality of her cult, which is not a static thing, but a force that grows to meet the needs of the faithful and adapts with the times. Accepting this, the symbols, colors, and numbers presented here will reflect the opinion of the older workers and curanderas. Let me see. Okay, I'll just finish this out. Um, Santisima Muerte's colors are red, white, and black, with each representing a different aspect of the saint and containing spells unique to each color. Most altars to her will house three statues in red, white, or black, or will, involving shifting the different statues in different positions depending on which Santisima Muerte is being worked with. It is also common to have a single skeletal Santisima Muerte and dressing her according to which color is being invoked. The red Santisima Muerte is called upon for matters of love, desire, passion, and to provide material things. The white Santisima Muerte is called upon for healing, protection, exorcisms, and blessings. The black Santisima Muerte is called upon for aggressive protection, to turn back evil, and to punish enemies. She blesses her devotees, that's for sure. Know a lot of people that worship her. Yeah, I know people that worship her as well, but I don't really. This is like really the first time I've dove into anything really about her. Um,
I'm wondering if there's some relation between the iconography of Santissima Muerte and Anima Sola.
huh. So since I'm not super familiar with Santisima Muerte, what iconography would is also similar to the Anima Sola?
I'm thinking about the colors and
Oh, the colors. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
things that are used with the Anima Sola. Um,
Interesting. Interesting. Hmm. I'm not a perennial,
Also, some of the
but
positions, some of the statues that you see for Santissima Muerte is positioned in the same way as like the traditional Anima Sola.
okay.
Um, there's just a thought that popped up when you were reading that.
Yeah. Uh, we had a rent house, and they had her on an altar in a middle room. Left a black mark on that area for a while. Oh wow, wow, that's power.
Mm.
Another relatively new type of statue that has appeared is the amber statues filled with different herbs, loaded statues, seeds, grains, and charms. These more likely come from Cuban influence and are descended from the West African. I was going to say, yeah, we do that in hoodoo. We use loaded statues, candles, all kinds of stuff. That's how I asked Matthew Venus to make my fetish. I gave him precise instructions on how I was kind of annoying on how I wanted it. But anyway, um,
Okay.
they are quite popular among spiritual supply shops who often claim that only loaded statues with the right magical combinations are truly effective. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's the only way to do it, but it's certainly very, very powerful. Um, while certainly interesting, this is not the case In reality, any image of Santisima Muerte will be accepted by her, with her three aspects as black, red, and white being the most preferable. Her symbols include a scythe, scales, a globe, owl, and an hourglass. Many of her images or statues will have any combination of these symbols. There are also some statues with removable scythes, which can be used in specific types of magical workings. For example, one may wrap the photo of an enemy around the scythe and place it back in her hands so that the enemy is given over to her. Or one may place the scythe over a photo of a troublesome person to pin them down and to keep them from meddling. There are other statues where the entire hand of Santisima Muerte is removable. This comes from the tradition of agitating a saint in order to get them to work faster for you. Oh, we talked about this when we were reading Anathema Maranatha. If you guys remember when we were talking about the one bishop who was trying to get one of the kings, like King John or something, to like do something in the town, like, oh, this town is trash and you got to clean it up or something. And the king wasn't like listening. So he decided that he was going to petition a saint. But in order to get that saint's attention, he decided to desecrate the church and do, unspeakable things to the saints, like statue and to the crown of thorns that Jesus, had or whatever. And then that got the saint to like respond and get the king to move and all this other nonsense. Yeah, that's very interesting. That here now, so here's in a whole other part of the world, right? They're using, I think that's called a clamor. I think that's what it's called in the text. They're using clamors in a whole other part of the world, and another type of saint, right? A folk saint. It's very interesting. To pin them down. Okay, this comes from the tradition of agitating a saint in order to get them to work faster for you. It is in line with placing the statue of a saint upside down, as with done with Saint Joseph to get him to help you sell property. There are Saint Anthony statues where the baby Jesus is removable, and one promises to return the baby back into his arms when the lost lover or object is returned. In the case of Santisima Muerte, statues that have a removable hand, the promise is to return her hand when she carries out the work. I don't know if you want to do that. I don't think that's smart. I have found such an approach not to be not only unnecessary, yeah, but that it may cultivate the hostility of the spirit. Yeah, I wouldn't do at least not with death. If you want to mess with some godly saint, fine. But I don't know if you want to take the hand away from death and say, haha, I got your hand, and you're not getting it back until I get what I want. I think death will kind of smack you.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I find it better to cultivate a relationship of respect and faith, which encourages the saint or spirit far more readily than agitation. And finally, Santisima Muerte is associated with the number 7 and the number 9. It is quite common for people to give her offerings that reflect those numbers. In addition to these symbols, she also holds the aloe vera plant as sacred. Oh, wow. And it should be included in any altars that are devoted to her. In traditional curanderismo practices, no altar to Santisima Muerte would be complete without the aloe vera plant, and there are several specific magical practices and spells that involve working with the plant directly. The placement of the plant holds unique significance. It is hung upside down from its roots to either side of the altar. When placed on the left, it wards off evil spirits, whereas if it is placed on the right, it attracts good spirits. Before doing a magical working with Santisima Muerte, moving the aloe vera plant is necessary. Moving it to the left for darker workings, and moving it to the right for positive workings. And you can pick up with the feast day, brother. And we're almost at 3K likes, guys. We need 700 more likes. We're at 2.2K. Tap those screens. Let's get on the For You page.
Very short section. I'll go into the next one as well. But
okay.
I wonder if that moving the plant to the left and right is part of like the idea of left versus right path.
Probably. The left hand, the right hand. Yeah.
Mm. Feast day. Santisima Muerte is venerated on Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, that is usually celebrated on November 1st and 2nd. It is interesting that Dia de los Muertos may have sprung from Aztec celebrations Mictecacoatl, I think is how it's pronounced. Again, highlighting a link between the two. On this day, you could decorate her altar with ofrendas or offerings of sugar skulls, sweetbreads made in the form of skulls, candles, perfume, tequila, roses, candy, as well as orange Mexican marigold flowers. This flower is believed to be sacred to death in Mexican culture and is placed on graves on this day as offerings, for it gives the dead sustenance and allows them to enter our world. Since Holy Death teaches us to respect of the afterlife, her holy days should be honored by a celebration of death and life. It is a good time to visit loved ones who have passed, to decorate their graves, leave out offerings, and recall their deeds in life. Gather with family and remember those who have passed away, for so long as they are remembered, they are still alive. Setting up an altar to Santisima Muerte. Any surface can be made into an altar of Santisima Muerte, though many practitioners indicate that she prefers to have her own space rather than share with other spirits or saints. Her altar should include her image, preferably with all her three traditional colors represented, a small clay pot with 7 coins filled with water, and 6 yellow or white flowers, a rosary, a cup of fresh water, and an aloe plant hanging upside down to the left of the altar, roots and all. The aloe plant is sacred to Santisima Muerte, and the position that it is hung pertains to the various spiritual works referenced above. Leaving the aloe plant to the left of the altar is a protective act and keeps you safe from evil spirits. Placing it to the right will draw helpful spirits. Before any trabajos or works with Santisima Muerte, you must move the aloe plant to either side. This is the bare minimum of an altar for her, though the more you build it up, the better the connection you can form with her. Other elements could include fruits like apples and oranges, cigarettes, rum and tequila, tortillas, fresh red or white flowers, and cinnamon candies. Once a week, water, alcohol, flowers, and food should be replaced, and these can also act as offerings given to her along with candles. To consecrate the altar to her, you can perform a simple rite like the following. Materials: Florida water or Siete Machos perfume, copal resin, charcoal and something to burn it in, white candles, white flowers, white tablecloth, and rosary. Cleanse and wash the surface with Florida water or Siete Machos perfume, or Siete Machos. Portuguese kicked in, and I pronounced it wrong. If it is a wood surface, be careful not to damage it with the alcohol-based cologne. After you've cleansed the surface, cover it with your white tablecloth and light your charcoal. Sprinkle the copal on the burning charcoal and let the smoke waft up. Move around the table with the smoke, making circles around it, either by walking around it or by circling it with your hand. This is quite easy if you have a thurible or censer. As you let the smoke consecrate the altar, pray a short prayer like the following. Holy Death, dear to my heart, do not abandon me. Protect me, stand by me, and walk with me. Beloved Santisima Muerte, bless this place as your holy site. Make sure that the smoke touches the table, the statues, aloe plant, and all other parts of the altar. Repeat the prayer 3 times, then wipe the table gently with the white roses and place them on the altar. Light your candle and let it burn down. Anoint the statue or image of Santisima Muerte with Siete Machos perfume and anoint her rosary while praying the orison above. Dangle the rosary from her hand or wrap it around the image. This process, minus the cleansing with the perfume, can be repeated over 9 days for a stronger effect. Your altar is now consecrated and can be built accordingly. Include images, objects, and symbols devoted to her on your altar. Decorate as necessary. Make sure any fruit, flowers, and water are fresh. Some people insist that you only use holy water, but fresh spring water will also work well. The more love and attention you put into it, the more you'll be able to cultivate her presence on your altar. Each element included on the altar brings her presence just a little closer. Um, Again, even in this, you see the association with spring water and death.
Yeah, and I mean the instructions that you just read on building the altar tour. If you guys remember, I've done numerous streams on necromancy, and you guys should see some strong similarities to the instructions that are used in hoodoo and other ADRs for building an altar. To venerate your ancestors, right? It's very similar, right? The white tablecloth, the offerings of water or food or flowers or alcohol, things like that. Um, I mean, I'm not a perennialist, but we can see the perennial connections of, the origins of a lot of these occult systems from around the world, right? We know that the vast majority of them come from shamanism and therefore are going to have similarities. And so when stuff like this happens, it's always interesting.
Working with Santisima Muerte. Working with Santisima Muerte follows a traditional format with certain elements that are unique to her, while others are familiar to anyone who has worked with saints in a folk magical manner. There are three elements that are essential to working any trabajo or spell with Santisima Muerte: the amparo, the tributa, and the ex voto. The amparo. My text is messed up there. Before working with Santisima Muerte, it is important to discuss the essential element of amparo. This is a protective pact made with a guardian spirit and to help mediate and ameliorate the influence of holy death. In traditional Mexican folk magic, the belief is that whenever one is doing a spell, a protective rite is needed to ensure the spell cannot be reversed. This is also essential in cleansing others to ensure that what you cleanse off does not enter you. When working with Santisima Muerte, the Amparo acts as both protection and to temper her influence. Being the force of death embodied, she can be overwhelming, and so the Amparo not only offers protection from death but allows you to work with her without being overwhelmed. The term Amparo refers to a legal term, and in working with Santisima Muerte, it allows one to work with spiritual forces without allowing them to impact the petitioner. Traditionally, people who work with Santisima Muerte invoke the power of either Saint Michael or Saint Cyprian to make amparos, as these are the two saints believed to have the power to temper her influence. Oh, that's interesting. To make an
Maybe it was
amparo,
Saint Cyprian I was thinking of when I said Amokayan. Maybe it was Saint Cyprian because he's a skeleton too, right? He's a purple skeleton. He's got the purple robe, or I guess it can
he
be
is,
black as well.
yeah,
But
he is a skeleton, and he is also pretty prevalent in Brazilian cults.
yeah, maybe it was him I was
So,
thinking of. I mean, also Cain is also a skeleton, but I think I was thinking of Saint Cyprian. Thank you, Michael.
to make an amparo, place your photo in between images of either saint with their faces outward and light a votive or vigil candle for it. For Saint Michael, a white or red candle is appropriate, and purple or white for Saint Cyprian. Recite their orison and ensure that the light remains on you while you work with Santisimo Muerte. This is especially important when you first start working with Santisimo Muerte, as when doing heavier work or darker work, and when doing heavier or darker work. Without this level of protection, you may find yourself overwhelmed by her and her influence. Um, that is not an uncommon thing. That sounds almost ATR influence. Um, a lot of your practitioners that are in, let's say, like Palo, Miami, will also be in an Orisha tradition to balance the heat of the Palo spirits. So this kind of sounds familiar to me of having Santisimo Muerte being a hotter spirit cooled off with Saint Michael or Saint Cyprian. Uh,
Interesting.
Orison for Saint Cyprian. Saint Cyprian, grant me your protection and liberate me from all danger. I ask you to unbind all curses, hexes, and bewitchments. Rescue me from the rabid wolf and guard me from all evil. I ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Orison for Saint Michael. Saint Michael, the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the divine power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who roam throughout the world seeking ruin of souls. Amen.
They made that
The
look like one giant orison, but it's
They did.
two separate orisons.
Yeah, they didn't bold Orison for Saint Michael, so it looks like one editing error
Yeah.
or formatting. The Amparo is always the first step in any major working with Santisima Muerte. Over time, as your relationship with her develops, the Amparo can be reserved for heavier works. Small prayers and petitions can be presented to her without an Amparo as you develop more of a feel for her and her presence becomes more temperate. You can also tie the picture packet together and create a permanent Amparo and occasionally light candles on it when needing extra protection. There are some accounts from practitioners that indicate that Saint Cyprian must be kept on a separate altar from Santisima Muerte, as their powers tend to clash and conflict. I have not experienced this, but I do keep the altars of Santisima Muerte and Saint Cyprian separate. So
Well, that's
then,
why you've not experienced it.
yeah.
You're doing what
so
you're supposed
then,
to do.
so then you have no say. Okay. Um, I'll read the next one. Tributa.
Okay.
And then you can pick up on the one after if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
For any large working with Santisima Muerte, a tributa is needed, which calls upon the powers of Santisima Muerte while also ensuring the protection of the person calling upon those powers. The tributa is necessarily especial when first starting to work with Santisima Muerte. This is done by taking an unglazed clay pot and filling it with fresh water, putting in 7 coins and 6 white flowers. You then take this to a cemetery and leave it at the gate, and speaking from the heart, tell Santisima Muerte that this is a gift for her and ask her to work for you. Walk away without looking back. Okay, I see what this is now. The tributa opens the gates to Santisima Muerte to work on your behalf and keeps you safe from other spirits that may be attracted to you from your work. The number of coins varies from practitioner to practitioner. Some say 3, others 7. In either case, the coins are offerings to the spirits of the cemetery, and the 6 flowers represent the 6 good spirits of the days of the week invoked for protection, with the 7th being Santisima Muerte herself. The tributa can be used as a form of appeasement if you discover that someone has sent Santisima Muerte against you, or you have offended her, maybe by taking her hand. By putting in place an amparo and then performing the tributa, you can gain her protection and turn back her hand. So, not unlike working with Hecate, some slight significant differences, but yeah, it's close. Over time, as you cultivate a relationship with Santisima Muerte, the tributa can be made and kept on the altar rather than taken to the cemetery. However, at the beginning, it is essential to carry it to the cemetery and leave it as an offering. Those individuals who have worked with Santisima Muerte for a while often make this tributa, but only carry it out to the cemetery during larger works, but not necessarily for smaller devotional works. The use of the tributa opens up the gates and brings in the power of Santisima Muerte strong and fast, as that power is cultivated on her altar. The tributa can be left there. If you don't mind, I'm just going to talk about one of the biggest differences between the Hecate
Yeah, man. Good.
feast and this. Okay, so this is done to appease Santisima Muerte and additional spirits. The reason you turn away from the feast for Hecate is because her spirits will attack you. Um, but these are not Santisima Muerte spirits. This is not her legion that she's dragging around. These are appeasing the spirits of the cemetery as if you were going to do any working at a cemetery. Um, so that's a little bit of a difference there. So,
Excellent. Ex voto.
mhm.
The ex voto is an offering made to Santisima Muerte or any saint for favors granted. Folklorist E. Brian Holman calls this the manda. When working with Santisima Muerte, one promises to give her offerings in return for the trabajo or work she does for you. The ex voto is an offering given in fulfillment of a vow. Oh, so it's like a promise. Okay. Of like if you do this, then I give you this. Um, these take a variety of forms, but the most common is giving her 9 candles, 3 red, 3 white, and 3 black. There are other variations of candle offerings from 12, 4 of each color, or 21, 7 of each color. She's also given offerings of apples, cigarettes, tequila, rum, flowers, spicy candies, as well as giving her more customized gifts like buying her a new dress for her statues or making a pilgrimage to one of her shrines. Those that make these pilgrimages usually make it by foot, carrying her statue with the last few steps being done on their knees. Wasn't that what they were doing in Breaking Bad? That one episode where they pulled up to the Mexican John and
Oh, I think
everybody
so.
would like get on their bellies and like slither up to like the gate and they were like working it.
Hmm.
I forget, but I think it was something like this. Um,
I think that was it.
yeah. A common ex voto found in Latin American folk magic tradition is that is traceable to the Iberian Peninsula and the practices of the Spanish and Portuguese is the Milagro charm. These charms take a variety of shapes and usually are reflective of the petition that has been granted or the miracle provided. For example, if Santísima Muerte were to help you in your arm surgery, a milagro of an arm would be obtained and given to her. The Milagro charm can be taken to one of her shrines, placed on a home altar, or even sewn into the altar cloth of her gown. It is quite common to find public altars for her at botanicas where people have sewn Milagro charms on her gown. Milagro charms are made in a variety of shapes, sizes, and forms for any petition that one may take to a saint. These charms can also be used as talismanic objects carried on the person while petitioning Santísima Muerte. It is essential to keep your vows to Santísima Muerte, as she can be one of the more demanding saints. When she comes through for you, be prompt in completing the ex voto, whether it is giving her candles, a milagro, flowers, or something more customized. But do be sure to follow through. That should be on any spirit. You don't want to delay giving your promised offering to any spirit. So, especially the ones that have negative connotations. So yeah, that's good advice just for any spirit. Um, Delays in giving her what is owed or failure to give her the offerings promised may lead to her taking back what she gave you in the first place, and you don't want that. The trabajos of Santísima Muerte. Santísima Muerte has a complete system of magic all to her own. As her popularity has grown, the sphere of things she can be called upon has grown as well. Where once a practitioner would call upon different saints for each situation they faced, now it is common to find Santísima Muerte called upon for all of it, which is exactly what I said earlier. And so her workings have come to be regarded as a complete magical system. Typically, there are 2 ways of working with Santísima Muerte, and thank you guys for the 3.7k likes. I appreciate that. Through her novena or through a spell, which are commonly known as trabajos or works. In either case, it is important to ensure that the amparo and tributa are performed and an ex voto is offered. Finally, make sure to move her sacred aloe plant according to your intentions. Left if you're doing harsher works, and right if you're doing works of love and drawing. The Novena of Santísima Muerte. The Novena de Santísima Muerte is the most traditional way of working with her, and its form, is very similar to novenas done on behalf of other saints. A novena is a religious act performed over 9 days that involves prayer and usually includes the lighting of a vigil candle. One vows to pray the novena for 9 days in return for the intervention of the saint that is being petitioned. Santisima Muerte's novena starts on a Sunday at midnight, though occasionally some will begin her novena on a Tuesday. It should be done at her altar, or at least before her printed image, and requires a red novena candle which you will burn for 9 days. This can be 9 separate votive candles that are burned down each day, or it can be a glass encased it can be a glass encased candle left on for the entire 9 days. The latter is preferred by most practitioners, but it should be noted that most glass encased vigil candles, which are advertised as lasting 7 days, often burn down in 5, so this should be taken into consideration. Another method that has been adopted into her cult from Cuba and the Caribbean is the use of lamps, both kerosene and homemade. These two would be left lit for the entirety of 9 days, like the vigil candle. Interesting. I've never heard of kerosene lamps being used as a substitute for candles.
There's
That's
a little
interesting.
bit of grimoire influence there,
Yeah.
it seems like.
Um, in addition to the candle and image, a glass of fresh water is needed, and a piece of paper upon which you have written your request. Her novena is most commonly used to return a wayward lover, but can be adapted for any situation that requires the intervention of Santisima Muerte. If done to return a lover, a photo of the individual should be placed under the cup of water. To begin the novena, make sure you have your amparo in place, then light your candle and write your petition and place it beneath the candle. Ensure that the candle and water are both before the image of Santisima Muerte. Begin each day of prayers with the Yakuratoria prayer. This is a prayer that is to be memorized and repeated each day. It is a common practice to recite the Yakuratoria throughout the day, and this is often can be a source of solace and comfort during times of trouble. When you are out and about, taking a moment to recite the Yakuratoria continues the power of the novena while attuning you to the spiritual current of the work. The Yakuratoria prayer should be recited before each day of the novena for Santisima Muerte is: Beloved death, dear to my heart, do not abandon me, protect me, and do not let the name of my lover have one moment of peace. Do not let her, because I don't like men, rest. Bother her unceasingly with thoughts of me. The Yakuratoria prayer can be altered to fit any petition or situation, not just to return a wayward lover. After the Yakuratoria, recite each prayer according to the day of the novena. And here is the first day. Holy Death, through the favors that you grant me, make me overcome any difficulties that for me nothing is impossible. No treacherous obstacles, no hindrances, nor any enemies. That no person does me harm, and only friends come into my path. And that all my endeavors are victorious, and everything I do flourishes. Fill my home with success, and protect them with your virtues. And then you say 3 Padre Nuestros. Day 2. Holy Death, my great treasure, never leave my side at any time. You ate bread and gave me a piece. And as the powerful host of the dark in this mansion in life, and the empress of the darkness, I want you to grant me this favor, that, whatever the name of your lover is, humbly falls before my feet, remorseful, that he or she never leaves my side, so long as I need him or her. Make him or her fulfill what she or he has promised me. And say 3 Padre Nuestros. Day 3. Jesus Christo. No, I'm kidding. Jesus Christ, who on the cross was conquered. Conquer the name of your lover, that he or she falls before my feet. In the name of our Lord, they are a wild animal, and they shall return tame as a sheep. Excuse me. As Soft as rosemary, beloved death, I beg that with the massive force that God gave you, that you instill, oop, that you instill in whoever's heart that he or she has eyes only for me, and I am everything for him or her. Please grant me the favor that I am asking. Having faith in your novena, I will light a candle every Tuesday of every week at midnight in your honor and say three Our Fathers. Dear death, I ask you with all my heart. Uh, Day four, excuse me. Dear death, I ask you with all my heart, just as God made you immortal and the most powerful host, and queen of the never ending darkness, that with your great power you hold over all mortals, make the name of your love, make Anna de Armas unable to eat at any table, nor sit in any chair, nor have any moment of peace. I ask that you make her come to my feet, humble and remorseful. Draw Anna de Armas closer and never let her leave. And I'm going to say three Our Fathers because I need her. Just kidding. Uh, Day five. Glorious and powerful death. I wish to take advantage of your kindness. As my protector and host, I ask that you grant me this. As the invincible force you are, I beg that you make whatever your name of your lover is so that he or she cannot find joy in his or her path, not nor find a lover, nor eat, nor sleep, if he or she is not at my side. Let his or her thoughts of me be of me and me alone, or let his or her thoughts be of me and me alone, and she give me all his or her love, or he or she gives me all his or her love, and fill me with happiness. That one is most like the in tranquil spirit.
Uh-huh.
Day six, O sovereign lady, whom our eternal Father's divinity or divine Trinity has elected to blind the life of mortals, whom every mortal will see sooner or later, whether rich or poor, and she takes us all, young and old, old, young, and child, whom she must take to her domain when God decrees her to. I beg that you make, name of wayward lover, fall in love with me, not just for my physical beauty, but my inner soul, and that he or she comes to my docile, or comes to me docile, faithful, and kneeling at my feet. And then you say three Our Fathers. Day seven, immortal death, free me from all evil, and with the great power which God has granted you, let us rejoice eternally. Glorious days without night, my protector, my mistress, I ask that you grant me the favors I ask in this novena. Say three Our Fathers. Day eight, miraculous and majestic death, I ask that with your immense power you give back, name of wayward lover. Do not give him or her one moment of peace. If he or she is with someone else, neither with friends or with other women or men will he or she be pleased. When asleep, let him or her dream of me. When awake, let him or her be thinking of me. And these words I say, let him or her obey, and grant me what I ask. And finally, day nine, holy protector death, with the virtue that God granted you, I ask you to free me of all evil and dangerous illnesses, and instead grant me luck, health, happiness, and money. Let only friends come near, and free me of my enemies, and make the name of wayward lover prevent himself or herself humble at my feet, asking for my forgiveness, humble like a lamb, and true to his or her promises, always loving and docile. Say three Our Fathers. Once the novena is complete, it is best to keep the altar as it is until the petition has been granted. Make sure to put a fresh glass of water out each week. Once the petition has been granted, one has to follow through with the promise of this novena, which is to offer Santisima Muerte a candle every Tuesday as her offering. This is payment for her providing you with what you asked for. And if you want to pick up with the Santisima Muerte oil,
There we go. Headphones disconnected.
no worries.
Yeah, I'll read through the Santisima Muerte oil. Santisima Muerte oil number 1. This recipe is a traditional blend that is used for Santisima Muerte and is good for any petition. It can be used to anoint objects that are being blessed, candles for spell work, or can be used as a scent for when attracting a lover. I feel like Conjureman Ali was lonely when he wrote this.
He was doing what?
I feel like he was lonely when he wrote
He
this.
was lonely. Well, yeah, everything's about love. Trying to find bring back a lover, get your wayward lover back.
Yeah. Venom is invisible. Again? Mm, okay.
Oh yeah, your thing went out for like a minute, but it came back.
Oh, okay. Materials: dried rosemary or dried rose petal, dried rosemary, dried hibiscus, orange essential oil, rose essential oil, carrier oil, sweet almond oil, or jojoba oil. Dark colored bottle, brown or blue preferable. This oil should be made during a waxing moon and preferably at night. In the dark colored glass, put in your dried rose petals, rosemary, and hibiscus, praying over each by calling out to Santisima Muerte and asking her to lend her power to the oil. Cover the mixture with your carrier oil and slowly start adding your essential oils drop by drop, 3 drops of orange essential oil and 5 drops of rose essential oil. Again, pray over the oil, asking Santisima Muerte to bless the oil with her power, making sure to breathe the prayer into the bottle. Very hoodoo like.
Very.
Close the lid and place this on Santisima Muerte's altar for at least 9 nights. Shake the oil up daily while praying to really get the power flowing into the oil. And the next is another love spell. Oh, I lost my spot. There it is. Amare, the love binding. After the novena for Santisima Muerte, the red spell or the Amare is one of the most traditional trabajos. Whereas the novena can be customized for any petition, though it is commonly used to bring back a wayward lover, the Amare is specifically used to draw back a wayward lover, keep them faithful, and inflame their passion and desire for you. There are variations on how the spell is worked, though most of the common methods involve working over 7 days using photos, pens, and specific prayers, often found in little prayer booklets in botanicas everywhere.
I've got one of those, but not
The
for
prayer booklet?
yeah, but not for Santisima Muerte. It's for any of the saints.
Oh,
I don't think she's in there. She there's well, she might be. They've got weird saints, so she might be. Where is it?
it's possible.
You can keep reading.
Okay. Materials: 1 red vigil candle, 1 red candle, 3 pens, photo of yourself in Target, Siete Machos perfume, Santisima Muerte oil, cup of water. Start by performing an amparo to either Saint Cyprian or Saint Michael to ensure you are protected as you begin your work. Then complete the tributa by taking a clay pot of flowers, water, and coins to the cemetery. Call upon the power and protection of Santisima Muerte and leave the clay pot at the gate of the cemetery. When you return home, set up your altar and anoint the statue or image of Santisima Muerte with the Siete Machos perfume. If you have all 3 colors of Santisima Muerte, either perform this before the red one or move the red one to the center of the altar and place the cup of water and candles before the image. Take the aloe plant and hang it upside down to the right of Santisima Muerte using a red string or cord wrapped around its roots. While doing this, pray: Blessed aloe, sacred aloe, holy aloe, through your virtue that you gave the apostles, I ask that you give me the same virtue, for I honor you and love you. I ask that you may free me from evil, illnesses, bad luck, that I do well and drive away evil from my home and free me from enemies wherever I may go. That you bless me with fortune, with all ease, your virtue will make me strong, famous, fortunate, and joyous. Remove all obstacles from my desires, this virtue that God gave you. In God I believe, and you I trust. Through all of virtue that you bestow upon me, I will defeat all obstacles that are presented to me. I ask that you bless me and my home with your virtue, holy aloe. Take the red vigil candle and add a drop of Siete Machos perfume. Be very careful to only add a drop and rub it into the wax, for the perfume is flammable. Set this before the image of Santisima Muerte and light it while praying the Yaculatoria. This is the same prayer that is used in the novena. Spend a few moments focusing on your desire and letting yourself bathe in the energy of Santisima Muerte.
So before you continue,
Mhm.
Santisima Muerte is not in the prayer book, but you would think she would be because there's quite a few saints in here that or just beings that are prayed to, and this is a Catholic prayer book that I've got here. So you know, uh, and in here it's got, where was it? Um, the great enchantment in honor of the Baron of the cemetery, right? Who's that? That's Baron Samedi, right?
Mhm.
They also have the prayer to Glorious Elegua,
Elegua. Oh,
which is
interesting.
very interesting. Um, prayer to High John the Conqueror,
Okay, so hoodoo prayer.
that's very interesting. Prayer to the Nine Souls of Lima, that's interesting.
Hmm.
I don't think there's another one on this page. Yeah, not on this one. Over on this page, we've got prayer to the seven African powers, which is interesting. I have
Yeah.
a seven African powers oil from a friend in the house of well, formerly the house of Gene Kent. He's dead now, Gene Kent, but formerly the house of Gene Kent. I've a friend was in that house. Has his own house now, but he would send me that oil for my old familiar. I don't have that one anymore, but I still have some of the oil. Um, the Anima Sola, but that's not that crazy. Prayer to the Congo Spirit.
Oh,
Prayer to the Congo Spirit. What else? This is a weird one. Prayer to the Wandering Jew. I don't know what that means, but
is that a reference to Jesus
just the Wandering Jew. I don't. Is it? Let's see. Let me see. Hold on.
or Moses?
Let me go to the page. Let's see what it says. O wandering Jew of lovers, as you entered the temple of Jerusalem and blew out the candles of the holy altar, did did Jesus do that? I
I
don't know
have
if he
no
did that.
idea. That doesn't sound familiar.
And then just two more. The prayer to the seven and tranquil spirits,
Hmm.
which is interesting, and also there's the prayer to the intranquil spirit. But then here's just one of the most interesting ones: prayer to Yamaya, the goddess of the sea.
Yemaya. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have Elegua and Yemaya in there.
Oh my
Uh,
god, it's crazy. But sorry.
yeah.
And we've got about 10 minutes. So just so you're aware.
Okay. Ooh, holy shit.
Yeah, time flew. This is a great book.
It is. Actually, instead of, well, I guess it depends because this will probably run over if I finish this section.
Uh,
Yeah.
do you think you can make it to the black work?
That's what I was saying is I think it might run over, but I might can make it there.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if it goes over a few minutes, that's fine.
Okay. Let's see, where was that?
I think you were at the
After the
take
aloe.
take the photo of
Yeah,
yourself.
take the photo of yourself.
Yep.
Next, take the photo of yourself and the photo of your target. On the back of your photo, write your full name, date of birth, and the name of the saint born. Do the same on your target's photo with their information. To find out the saint's day, you can consult a Catholic calendar. Take the photos and place them face to face with your own on top. Take two of the pins and pin the photos together with one pin stuck vertically and the other horizontally to make a cross. Place this under a cup of water before the statue of Santisima Muerte. Take the red candle and dress or anoint it with your Santisima Muerte oil while focusing on your desire. Set this to the other side of her statue so that the vigil is on her left, this candle to her right, and the cup of water in front and center. Light the candle and pray the following prayer to Santisima Muerte. Jesus Christ, who on the cross was conquered, conquer, name of your lover, that he or she falls before my feet. In the name of our Lord, they are a wild animal. They shall return as tame as sheep, as soft as rosemary. Beloved death, I beg that with the massive force that God gave you, that you instill in Blank's heart that he or she has eyes only for me, and I am everything for him or her. Please grant me the favor that I am asking. Amen. Spend a moment focusing on your desire, then take up the third pin and heat it up in the flame of the red candle, and with intent, stick the pin in the candle, imagining it pricking the heart of your target and making them restless with thoughts of you. As you do this, pray the following prayer. Spirit, body, and soul, name of intended, come to me, for I call you, I compel you, I command you. You shall not rest until you humbly fall before my feet. Just like this pin in the middle of the candle, you shall not forget me and come to me, for I am calling you. Repeat this 3 times. Spirit of Saint Cyprian, bring name of intended to me. Spirit of Saint Helen, bring name of intended to me. Spirit of Saint Martha, bring name of intended to me. Saint of their day, name their saint. Guardian angel of name of intended. Twist his or her heart, let him or her not rest in peace until he or she comes to me and falls at my feet, overwhelmed with love for me and me alone.
Damn,
Sounds
called
like
the
a
whole
Disney
squad.
villain.
Called his guardian angel against him. Like what the heck?
Spend a few moments focusing on your desire, seeing your intended coming to you with love in their heart, then snuff out the red candle while leaving the vigil candle lit. The next day, recite the Ejaculatoria, followed by lighting the red candle, reciting the prayer of Santisima Muerte, and then heating up the pen and sticking it in the candle again with the final prayer. Repeat this over 7 days, snuffing out the red candle while keeping the vigil candle lit the entire time. Once the spell is complete, keep the photos with the pins under your mattress to make sure to give Santisima Muerta her ex voto when she grants your request. What a wild fucking spell.
Yeah, very interesting. And another loved one. Well, that one, not the black work. That one was
Mm,
another loved one. I think you're right. I think he was going through a tough time. A tough time.
yeah.
But this is a very interesting book. I'm learning a lot. I've never dove into any of Holy Death's mythos and lore. I really only focus on the necromancy of Africa and African American systems. So
Mm.
uh, this is very interesting. I'm learning a lot, and I hope you guys are learning a lot as well. Um,
This is how you end up with people fucking obsessed with you and unaliving you and shit.
oh yeah, oh yeah, doing stuff like this. Oh yeah, definitely. This is what you don't want to happen. This is the true meaning of when they say like be careful what you wish for when doing love magic and stuff like that. This is the risk. So yeah, agreed, agreed. And how by the look of this, it doesn't seem like we're too far in. Let me just make this bigger really quick and zoom out. Get back to the regular size. Okay.
Mine says page 34 of 45.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. I guess because
Yeah.
I was zoomed in so much, it made it look like that. Um, okay. Yeah, we only got one, two, three, four more chapters plus the conclusion. So okay. So we should
Mm.
probably finish this next week then, because we got through like 8 chapters um, today. So
Mm.
we should be able to finish this next week, and then
Yeah, I
we
don't see any
can
reason why we can't.
and then from there we can move into the next text, which, as I was telling you, um, I've got other non-Haitian pamphlet type books, um, or smaller books that aren't like 300 pages. Um,
Mhm.
so, but yeah, man. Any final words from you, brother? We got like a minute or so left here.
Not really. Just appreciate you having me up. Having fun reading this one.
Oh yeah.
Looking forward to next week.
Oh yeah. This is a good one. I'm gonna have to put. I'm putting this on here right now. Okay.
We are at the Black Work.
Um, this is called Santisima Muerte. What is it called? How to work with the Holy Death, or how to work with Holy Death? Like that.
I believe it's how to call and work with Holy Death.
How to call and work with Holy Death. I think that could be okay. And today is March 3rd, 2026.
Mhm.
We started the text and well, the black work. What? Why did it do that? All right. Nice, mate. Tomato sauce.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've reached the end, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out. Oh, thank you, Chris, for the donut. I appreciate that. Thank you, Revna, for the heart. I appreciate that. Uh, and this was a fun read. We're going to be finishing up next week, and then we'll be moving on into our next text, which Venom and I will have to discuss. Um, but yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you. Venom, thank you for taking time out of your evening to come up and elucidate with us.
Of course.
Um, and I will see you guys in the next one. As always, seek the mysteries. Peace.